There you go, guys. If you this neck of the woods, highly recommend Alberge Cassie Susie with Susie and Fernie. You wouldn't guess it, she's an Aussie, would you? It was a fantastic Alberge, and the evening meal, oh my goodness, it was lovely. They shared their stories. Gosh, I've forgotten how many Camino Susie's walked, a lot, and she walked different ones all over the place before she found this magic little village and an incredible house. They've done a beautiful job of converting the Alberge. Incredible garden, river down below, great swim spot, and the food. Oh my goodness. We had the first course. We all thought that was the main course, which was absolutely incredible. And then she goes, and now the main course. I'm going, whoa, hang on a minute. How on earth are we going to get anything else? But we did. So, got a bit of a climb today, believe it or not, which would be nice. Up into the mountains again. But it's cold this morning, which is great for a climb. Got my fleece on. The hills go up the top there. Furman says that they stay open until the end of October, but in the winter it gets down to -10, and he said inside the buildings, because it's all very well having these beautiful old barns, but he says their living quarters are typically -5 in the winter inside. The Alberge's got a lovely wood pellet stove, and he says that stays warm and toasty. But actually they haven't got any heating in their side of the accommodation, which is on the first floor. Susie and her dad, I think they said 2016, converted it themselves. It was a cattle barn before they bought it. It's a bit incongruous, the sign, but I don't know, also quite funny. I think maybe it's just creepy. Little doll in the window there. Oh yeah, I'm loving the place next to it with the curved wall. Of course, it's all very well having lovely curved walls, which are organic and natural, aren't they? Until you go and fit, or try to fit, all the rectangular furniture that we all use in this day and age. Oh, that's a challenge. We've got to make some custom furniture. Although not last night, the night before, when we stayed in that fancy hotel, they'd got hold of some beautiful old furniture, but then actually gone and cut it, sort of the back of it, to go and fit the walls, because it was as is always the case, a super old place. Talking of just talking about our climb, 680, and we go up a little above 1300 metres today. I reckon it's probably going to be similar to yesterday. It was super cold, in fact even colder than it is today. Yesterday was a wind, and then by 2 o'clock it was scorching, which was great for a swim. Not sure I'm going to get a swim today. Not sure I want to swim this morning. Yeah, the bit I was beginning to say was that Furman was saying that the barn that they converted is sort of 300 years old. Of course, nobody knows. He was saying he didn't actually know if he's got any records. So that wouldn't surprise me if they're considerably older than that. Modern agricultural barn. I'll come back onto this old disused road again, which we actually walked on little road out of, I can't remember what the name of the town was we stayed last night. which was lovely this morning, and then dropped down here again. It's like, but it still is spectacular. I think we've only got 4 or 5k on here, and then an 8k climb. So we will be going up the mountains in it. Isn't it amazing? And if I show you where it is, tucked underneath the motorway bridge. It's got a bridge down there, which doesn't really look like it's been used. Nice stream. Oh, bit of a solar farm. It's one of those sort of like where must be a junction off the motorway next to us, and then you've got that infrastructure. It's exciting because it's a cow truck. Don't see many cattle. I've got to be there. Yeah, we do a lot of travelling in our motor caravan, and this is what you kind of see. And even if you went along the little roads that we've been walking along for the last couple of days, you would be very uninspired. And yet, actually, the walk's been amazing. You see the world from a completely different perspective. It's even just walking past this place now. Oh, look at a couple of old. They're brilliant. Actually, it's a very smart service station and a big hotel. I mean, that's going to be. We stayed in that gorgeous village with an amazing albergue, and the cafe we went in for lunch yesterday and had a salad. Oh my goodness! That when you stay at something like that, it could be anywhere rather than in the mountains of rural Spain. Looks like it's quite a nice truck stop. I'm appalled at the service stations and stuff we have in England. The truckers have to go and stay overnight on doing their work, and they get those incredibly tight time slots where they have to go and pick stuff up and drop them off, and yet we don't give them any facilities. I'm guessing there's going to be a nice shower and cafe for them to eat. But one of the worst ones is when you go in Dover on the M25. It's like, oh god, main artery in and out of the country for lorries, and we can't put a decent service station in for them. Because quite nice. We've got a nice thing, 190, but then just there by the rusty sign it says it's 174 to Santiago. Clothes hung up to dry. It's going to be a bit of a rude awakening, a bit of a dew, unless you're going to have a nice late stay or late rise this morning. Sun's coming, it's up the top there. I think it's there, alright. Oh, it's funny, isn't it? You get a mould. I've seen those two identical figures on somebody else's garden. I quite like the yellow. It's nice. The size of lintel stone, and it's like, oh yeah, a door's got one. Everywhere. Wow. Oh. I don't like stained glass. That was a nice little village. And we had our first cockerel this morning. That's been a little while. I reckon we've been out for an hour. Got some spot that's really deep. Going into another little village. I just saw an otter. I thought it was a cat running on the edge of a. There was an albergue back there with their own pool that they'd, like a garden pool, and it kind of. I only saw it for a few metres, and I thought, oh, it's a cat. And then my brain sort of processed it for a bit, and I thought, actually, no, the gait, it was running like an otter. It ran very differently to a pussycat. So, it was a shame I didn't kind of acknowledge what it was before it disappeared out of sight. I walked past one open cafe. I wouldn't mind actually stopping for a coffee now. Doesn't look like this one's open yet. Definitely closed. Oh, second cockerel this morning. It's been a bit slow on the cockerel front. Nice sign. All these sort of birth of the conservatory. There's no shortage of alberges up this valley. Oh, third cockerel. Third cafe, fourth cafe. Well, only one's been open. Oh, one of these elephanty goddy things. Like it. Nice a pretty chapel. Running outside now. This morning we've been having really boring bits going along an old main road, but luckily it's an old main road, just deserted. And then when you go in a village like this, it's like, oh wow, look at this, look at that. Beautiful little balconies. Cat hole. That's a windmill, that'd be a strange. Maybe a dovecot. Just ridiculous number of places for sale. Bass. Oh, it's definitely not how it's pronounced. Well, you've got to be impressed with. Most modern buildings I'm not impressed with, but oh my goodness me, that road infrastructure. God. And then the clouds, and then the mast that's sticking up above the clouds. Yeah. That's cool. I was going to have a winch and say, gosh, well, this I think maybe the fifth cafe you walked past. The first one was open, they're closed, but it's Tuesday, 7:30, so it's fairly early, although for peregrinos it's not. You know, most of us are usually out the door by 6. That's a really cool view. There's incredible, and sometimes with these motorways, I've not actually seen it on the Camino, but we came up and we spent a couple of summers doing road trips with a camper van on the Spanish side of the Pyrenees, and you get tighter and steeper valleys than this, and you end up with one road sort of going across there and then another one coming across underneath it, and it's like, wow, okay, there's some pretty cool road infrastructure going on. I'm not keen about having some wind farms. It's a lot of English and Welsh and Scottish people that would endorse that. I think actually little small nuclear power stations are really the answer, but I like wind farms. Can't say I've actually lived underneath one, so I might change my mind if I got one wishing. I'm not sure. God, that view is beautiful. It's funny how sometimes nature's views you can process them better as a human by putting it in a frame. And so actually that road bridge is kind of framing the hills there. Allows my brain to liken the copper downpipes. I think it's 50 to 1 I get a rose that's got a perfume. Well, there we go. Loads of lovely roses. None with a perfume. And I thought, oh, hello sweetie. Relax dog. But none of them had a perfume. Makes the ones that have got a perfume all that more exciting. This little place. That's a castle up there. Got a heart and an arrow out of vegetables. How cool is that? Although the only thing is, I think we're now up to 8 cafes, of which only one was open, which we didn't quite fancy. Castle's getting a bit closer. Still, when we do find one that's open, it'll be all the sweeter. Turns out Spain's more like Greece than I thought with the cats. Having breakfast. I'm walking for 2 hours this morning. Enjoyed the fact that it's really cool. I'm walking in the shade and we're just about to see our first bit of sunshine. Sun's been up, but just the tight mountain valleys mean that it's not made it to the valley floor, and of course we've been slowly climbing as well. I'm going to get run over. Another cemetery. Yeah. It's nice that they're all different. It's made me realise how pretty the cemeteries are. Oh, castle. How pretty the cemeteries are in you know, rural English churchyards. I guess it's a challenge in the mountains finding a bit of land, and there we go. I'm sorry to say it reminds me a bit of a garage, though we've seen quite a few of them like it, really. But, the one that was open and walked around was okay. Cool bike, nice looking cafe. But today is the day of closed cafes and motorway flyovers. Ridiculous number of motorway flyovers. I think that's now the 9th cafe we've seen. That's, and there was one open right at the beginning, but that was too early in our day, so we foolishly walked past it. Although there is going to be one open soon. I'm liking the... nice to see more of these sort of things. Obviously not for alberges, but murals are cool. Right, this is beginning to get a bit of a joke. 10th cafe we walked past, of which only one's been open. And it's like, everybody knows, the peregrine knows to hit the road at 6 o'clock in the morning. Some of us a bit later, sort of 8 o'clock, and I think it must be about 8:30 now. So it's definitely Peregrino's cup of coffee time. Thinking it's pretty obvious that they've only got so far, and when you look at all the plants growing there. But just there's a ridiculous number of places for sale up the valley, which is a very pretty valley. So I don't think there's any need for some new houses. It's a bit different. I can't quite figure out what it is. The old boy that's got that one, don't know why I think it's an old boy, but I do, is laughing. He's got his chair up there. It's a cracking view down there. I spin around a bit. I can't really see because of the sun, but it's the first house in the valley to catch the morning sun. He's got a sofa out there on the porch, loving it. Size this vegetable patch, which is just immaculate. Like, wow! Notice how small the stream's got. Same one that I was swimming in yesterday, although there's been a couple of branches. So we're following a smaller one of those. And we're going to walk in here. I like the gravel, but there's lots of nettles that want to kiss me this morning. So I'll give that one a miss from it. A bit sort of Linmouthy, apart from the fact there's a church there, little village. Apparently there's going to be a cafe opening. In your dreams, John. What have we got up there? What's that? Round bale signage. I think whoever owns this one, English couple I reckon, proud of their English lawn. We might have gone past 11 cafes, not that I'm keeping count, and 10 of them being closed, but we now have some cows. But, in England we dehorn everything. Over here they don't. They actually look very pretty with the horns. The reason we dehorn them is they don't hurt each other. Can't say. Maybe the ridiculous number. Their gardens are amazing, but they're all vegetable gardens. I mean, beautiful vegetable gardens. Free-range chickens, little bantam cockerel. Buenos dias. Little community park, look. Got the benches, barbecue, the fitness things which were a waste of time. I need to do like I did in it's gone. In China, everybody was encouraged to smelt iron to the point that this is me National Geographic book that I've been listening to, but not for quite some time. But it got so ridiculous that quotas were set for villages that they started melting down agricultural instruments and cooking pots and bits and pieces, which they needed to kind of survive. And then worse than that is actually the iron they produced was of very low quality, so actually wasn't of any use at all. So it was an utter disaster. But it went for quite a period of time, I think, when I lost my train of thought then. I was thinking, why am I going down this one? But anyhow, smelting down these little fitness things you see in a park. We've got them at home, hey. I never see anybody use them. Just go for a walk. Or do some gardening. Or, I don't know, housework. That's all great ways of keeping fit. Ooh. He was going to have some badges on the side of his truck for the pilgrims he'd run down. I am thinking about doing some badges for walking pilgrims, and you can use your walking poles to go as a lance and take bikes out, and so every time your bike goes past you can put a little sticker on the side of your rucksack. I jest, of course. There we go, we've had a coffee fix. Now we've got a cow with a bell. Haven't had a fresh orange juice, so it's proving a bit of a challenge. You know, it's morning ritual is freshly squeezed orange juice, a cortado, sorry to admit it, a sort of mediocre croissant. They're still pleasant, but boy, they're not on French standards. And then we're just smiling. We've had a van and a car go past us, and it's like, what's that about? Really indignant that we've had to share the road with two vehicles. We're at home, it'd be every couple of minutes a vehicle will be going along, but not in rural Spain. Mountain water, wow. It's the only downside. We're staying, definitely going into Galicia today. Just looked, probably only half a K, but that'll be exciting. Into Celtic nations, and that'll see us all the way through to the end of the world, that was genuinely what people thought when they were doing their pilgrimages for the pre-Christian era. You know, the Celts, they were walking to the end of the world, and then it was the same with the Romans. Talking to Brad, he was saying that most modern pilgrims now, the Costa Ferres, where we went and put our pebbles, that's a really significant moment on the Camino, and then the end is Finisterre, not Compostela. You know, there's a move away from the sort of Catholic religious side. But he would know, he's walked it 10 times, and he really enjoys finding out about pilgrims' stories. And I asked him why he does it so many times, and it's just a tube of happiness. So it's just like a rejuvenate you. I know exactly what he means. It was just that. Lovely little chapel. Wow. Amazing where a search for orange juice will take you. Oh, I'm not sure. It is the bell. Oh, I'm really struggling now. I want to pull the bell. Is that a Berger? What a cool little Berger. Wow. Like a statue. It's got a gun. Buenos dias.
Hello, yes.
I think that might be us. Got a fair way to go yet. Good. Look at this. We've got the girl in front of us. The dog looks surprisingly tired. Yeah. But is this like a Devon Lane or what? Although we've got incredible blue skies. Got some horses in front of us.
So this is a bit that you...
Just talking to a couple of university lecturers from Pennsylvania. They bring their students on the Camino for 3 weeks every year. He did tell me the name of the stages. They obviously do the last 100k coming in to get their Compostela certificate. But they also join just before Lyon. Also they can do the Cross de Ferres. And I'm pretty sure one of them is professor of religious studies, and the other one Spanish history, and I think religious studies. But I had a really cool conversation with them about what a pilgrim is, which is really not easy to define at all. And he was saying in a lot of ways it's just somebody that, you know, what's the difference between a tourist and a pilgrim or a venturer or somebody on an expedition? And it's somebody that's looking to get something more from the experience than actually just going and seeing a site or undertaking the physical activity of the Camino. And then we're talking about the fact that actually most people don't do it for religious reasons anymore, but there's still a strong spiritual presence for most people. And so, you know, what is that spiritual presence? And he didn't quite say it, but I kind of read into it like kind of evolution of belief, I suppose, and that spirituality, and they explore that. And again, all these are really messy things, you know, there's no right answer. And so they're undergraduates, the kids doing brought 15 I think this year, are doing this course. Isn't this like a Devon? And it's a bit like Exmoor but just on steroids. I think we're about 900 metres at the moment, and I think we're going up to 13. And then what's lovely is we're staying right at the top, so we're hopefully get some great views both ways. And I bet we find that the topography and the view and the fauna and flora change when we get to the top of this mountain pass and we look out on the other side. That's normally what happens. So we're moving into, not quite in Galicia, but we're almost spitting distance. So yeah, sounds like a really cool undergraduate course. And how magic going and taking your students, and take all the students to do the course to Spain for 3 weeks. I like it. Oh, I forgot to tell you the highlights. How can we have more highlights than that view? Go on. Yeah, I've got mine on. Need sunnies. Oh, I've got my sunnies and my hat. I'm ready to go. Yes, so I've forgotten the biggest highlight. I'm just taken away by these views, which are just... We're super lucky. Brad, this is his 10th Camino, and he said the other 9 times he came up here, and the same actually, the professors from Philadelphia, this is their 4th time and all of them said this is normally all clouded in fog, not raining, but just so the fact we got they've never seen these. So we're kind of assuming this is normal. It's not. It's special. Anyhow, headlines. The Santiago in the cathedral. You get, the pronunciation's going to be wrong, that big urn with all the incense that they swing that's broken and being repaired, and they're not quite sure when it's go again. But anyhow, the lecturers of the university, you can sponsor to have it swung. It's not that expensive, it's about 400 euros I think. Anyhow, they've sponsored it, so it is going to be swung, and amazingly it's the day that we arrive at Santiago. So all things said and done, we might be able to witness that incredible spectacle, which will just be mind-blowing. So fingers crossed. We got the Spanish space program there again. I don't know whether we go right over the top. We definitely go over the top somewhere. Probably not quite there. And then, although it feels like Exmoor, you then go and see the farms on the other side, and the scale is just huge. It's just that little bit there, just a soft, gentle, and the bracken, I don't know if it is bracken or not, but a little tiny ploughed field and a little field here. I can just hear it. There's some cows with their bells behind us. Milandi would come up here, you know. I have an aspiration that's going to be fulfilled to bring Milandi down to Bilbao or Santander. She's not good on long journeys, although she is having an overdrive fitted, and do an off-road adventure through the mountains. Be nice to camp out on the top sometimes, but also, you know, they're so cheap to stay in the little tiny hotels and bits and pieces and the bars. But yeah, go and do a week, 10 days would be rather magical. And she would, this bit so far, she would lap up. These little fields, tiny little fields on, you know, little bits of the mountain which are flat enough that you can drive a tractor on. It just goes down to those trees there, and you've got a little tiny one there, little tiny one here. But, it's you know, one of my favourite tractors is a old Massey Ferguson's T20, I think it is, the very first ones. That you know, they were the first person to design a 3-point linkage, which you don't realise how big a deal until you watch a documentary about how they sold them. They made a model, and so when tractors first came out and you towed particularly ploughs, which is the way that oxen and cart horses used to do. So of course that's the way you're going to do it with a tractor. But if you caught a big stone or something, it would flip the tractor backwards on itself and kill the people in the tractor. You didn't have roll cabs. And so Ferguson's 3-point linkage, it was impossible to do that. And so they actually made a little working model to show a tractor going along, catching the equivalent of a little rock, and the fact that because it's got a linkage bar at the top, the tractor can't flip over backwards. And that was a huge selling feature of the Massey Ferguson, and was one of the key reasons. And then it had a incredible look at that view, incredible lock, so you know, turn around on a sixpence, really light, didn't damage the soil. I think it was tractors at their best. See what the altitude is, because you know, a goodly climb. I've dropped back, so otherwise you hear the click click of Kerry's walking poles, and I stop and explore stuff. But I've got a slight headache. You can hear I'm sort of slightly out of breath. If I wasn't talking, I'd be kind of okay. But we're we're 1,200 meters. So it's like, okay, you know, you're working hard at altitude. There's a lovely freshness to the air, thank goodness. You know, that's why we get up at 5:30, outdoor at 6. Of course, the summer solstices are approaching, so actually really we should be getting up a bit earlier every day, and we stop and enjoy a bit more of the view. Get me. Oh, it's quite a big tractor for up here. 2 tractors. Is that Kia? Oh no, Fiat. And the dog asleep. And a New Holland, yeah. Buenos dias. I've filled my water bottle from the spring for another tractor. Wow. Gotta be careful with big bale silage up here. Don't want one of the bales taken off. Carrier was saying roundhouse, roundhouse, I think. What are you on about? There's no roundhouse. Oh wow. Cool, we got cattle, or horses there below. There's an albergue above. Maybe their house on the side. It's a kind of evolution of, gosh, there's lots of, it's a big old farm, lots of tractors. Lots and lots. Log splitter. Nice run of 5. A car with character. Yeah, anyway, you know, hopefully watch Clarkson's farm. It's highly entertaining, highly educational. The need for farmers to diversify. And of course on the Camino, really important, you've got all these pilgrims going by. Tap into them, because you're not going to make a livelihood from farming alone. Seen lots of signs along the Camino for honey, and it would be exceptional honey, because you know this is extensively farmed. You're not going to get any pesticides or herbicides in your honey on much of the Camino. Lovely little fields. Don't want to lose control of your tractor over those. No wonder they've got little 4-wheel drive tractors. Cracking for this terrain. Oh, it's a pretty steep field they've cut over there. It's a heady mix of modern infrastructure for the pilgrims going through and really rural mountain farms. I missed it. I thought I was videoing and I wasn't. We walked through an incredible bit of Spanish broom on both sides of us, and the scent was just was magical. I was just saying how nuts it is that we've just done 220 kilometres across the Meseta, dead flat, dead straight line, at now in the mountains. You know, it doesn't seem possible that you could walk, you know, sufficiently far enough to experience those different oh, that wind is sharp and cold. Beautiful sunny day, about a mile from the summit, but it's fine as long as you keep walking. If you stop, then you need a fleece. But if you're walking, you don't need a fleece. You just keep pushing on, making your body work, keeping warm. It's a good, tough little climb. We're liking it. with incredible views. Just utterly breathtaking. Proper Sound of Music stuff. But isn't it? Isn't it? Isn't it grasshoppers? Isn't that gorgeous? Those are some of the students from Philadelphia doing the course I was talking about. Rudy's got the red hound. We've got heading into Galicia. Goodbye, Leon. That's a big deal. Castilla and Leon. Galicia. Ooh, Celtic country. We're home. So there we go, in Galicia. I was smiling at Kerry. One, the views are just such an incredible walk all the time. But also, we've gone from 1 decimal place to 3 decimal places. Instead of it being a full stop, it's a comma. And I think what happened, it's not known very well, this story. It's probably not told anywhere else, unique to me. Is that the guy that was designing the way markers for the Galician section was drinking the Galician cider, a bit like they do in Bretagne. Drunk quite a lot, and when he was finishing off, his arm slipped, and instead of it being a full stop for point, how many times did it end up being a dash? It was definitely confusing me when I looked at pilgrims in front of me and thinking, why have we suddenly gone from hundreds of kilometres to hundreds of thousands of kilometres? Surely it should be going down, not up. There we go. That's the way they do it in Galicia. Good on them. We've just been talking about the fact that in Galicia we were told that we'd hear the bagpipes a lot. Is it a recording, or is somebody really playing it? It's somebody really playing it. Oh God, that has made my day. It's wonderful. Just talked to Brad, and so 89 he came up here, and this was all ruins, a few farm buildings, and then I think he said 91 he did the next one. Look at that view. There was a little bit more, I think 2 albergues up here, and then Spain had a big a bit like the Crystal Palace exhibition that we had in England. They did a similar sort of thing here in Spain, and then they invested a huge amount of money, and then we've got this incredible touristy infrastructure, bars and tourist shops and all sorts. is just nuts. This was looking out towards the glacier, and if I can't quite do it, but literally where that road is there is exactly the same view going the way we came, which is just as breathtaking. Place is insane. On top.
I'm taking a picture of a little bit.
So we're just the other side. Let's go and show you the nuts. So the guy with the bagpipes was just up here. My goodness. We are on top of the world. Now my laundry's just, I can almost see Kerry's tile there, towel. Kerry said it's a Lister engine down there. Oh no, look, a cart. Close. Look at this. We're here. Woohoo! Gonna stare. Looks yeah. Oh, this was shop. Chocolate. Not that we have chocolate. We were powering all the stuff. I'm looking for a cat.
Like these here.
What we found.
This is funny.
Oh, they're cool. They're cool. Nice jewellery. Nice one. Those ones are cool. Village we're staying in. And this is really unusual. It's very common for this mountain top to be, you can see the Camino, to be clad in clouds. You know, Brad that we've got to know really quite well over the last week. 10th Camino. First time he's come up here. 10 Caminos, and it's been clear sunny weather. He's just got us all booked in. We're a week away from Santiago. Oh, look, there's a Hills are on live Kerry Jenner. Sound of music, eat your heart out. It's pretty awesome, I tell you. My cheese rough, I want to walk up here, but it's like, maybe I want to go up there, Kerry. Yeah, it is, yeah. It suddenly got misty up here. All our views have gone. The spirits have come.